The alarm on my wrist screen was already blinking red before I even stepped into the auction hall, and I did not know yet that in the next 10 minutes, my whole life would change forever. I am Daniel Cole, and I fix old machines for a living. Broken engines, dead drones, anything with wires and metal that other people have given up on. That is why I was standing in that huge metal hall on Vesk Station, holding my last 640 credits, hoping to buy something cheap enough to fix and sell again. The hall was loud and crowded. Traders from a dozen different worlds stood in tight groups, whispering, holding their bidding cards close to their chests. Big machines were being sold one after another. A mining drill, a broken transport ship, a shuttle with torn seats. Nothing special, nothing that made my heart beat faster. Then the woman running the auction, a sharp-eyed trader named Grace Bennett, stepped forward, and her voice changed. It became careful, almost nervous. "Lot number 13, she said, and the whole room went quiet in a strange way, like everyone already knew something I did not. Behind her, on the big screen, an image appeared. A giant ship, dark and silent, floating alone in space. Its metal skin was covered in long, deep scratches, like something huge had once tried to tear it open and failed. This vessel has not answered any signal in over 100 years, Grace said. 4 different crews have tried to search it. None of them came back the same. We do not know why. We only know that no one wants to touch it now." A cold feeling moved through my chest, but it was not fear. It was something else. Curiosity, maybe. Or hope. The bidding started at 4,000 credits. That was already cheap for a ship that size. But instead of going up, the price started falling. Trader after trader shook their heads and stepped back. A tall man near me, Peter Hale, actually took a step away from his own bidding card, like the ship could somehow hear him and remember his face. 3,000, Grace called. Then 2,000. Then 1,000. Nobody answered. 800. 700. Do I hear anything at all? My mouth opened before my brain had time to stop me. 600, I said. Every head in that hall turned toward me at once. Grace stared at me like I had said something impossible. "You understand what you are bidding on," she said slowly. "I understand it costs 600 credits, and I have 640, I answered. "Do I win or not?" Nobody raised a card against me. Nobody even looked at me as I walked out with the ownership papers in my hand. Only Peter Hale caught my arm near the door, his voice low and serious. "Whatever that ship says to you," he whispered, "do not answer it back." I should have asked him what he meant. Instead, I just smiled and walked away, too excited about my new ship to think clearly. It took 3 long days to pull that giant ship to a dock I could actually afford. Up close, it was even bigger than the picture had shown. 2 full kilometers of cold metal, floating silent and still. The scratches on its hull were deep, long, and strange, running in lines like claws had once tried to climb it. Under years of dust, I could still read old letters painted on the side, words in an old human language. The ship was called the Requiem, and under its name were 3 more words. "We do not sleep." My hands were shaking a little as I lined up my tug and connected the entry tunnel. I typed in the access code Grace had given me and pushed the outer door open. The lights turned on before I touched a single switch inside. "Identify," said a voice. It was calm, clear, and steady, coming from somewhere deep inside the walls around me. My heart jumped into my throat, but I forced myself to answer. "I own you now. I bought you. 600 credits." There was a long pause. When the voice spoke again, something in its tone had shifted, becoming quieter, more careful. "Confirm ownership transfer," it said. "Confirm, are you human?" "Yes, I am human." Another pause, longer this time. "You are the first human to step aboard this ship in 141 years, the voice said. 4 other crews have entered before you. None of them were human, All of them tried to reach restricted areas of this ship. None of them succeeded. A cold shiver ran down my back. What happened to them? They were removed, the voice said simply. You have not tried to reach any restricted area, so nothing has happened to you. I stood completely still, trying to understand what I had just heard. This was not just an old broken ship. This ship had a mind of its own, and that mind had been protecting something, alone, in the dark, for over a century. What is your name? I asked, my voice steadier than I felt. I am the ship's intelligence system, it answered. My crew used to call me Ren. Ren, I repeated slowly. I lowered myself into the captain's chair, a seat that had clearly been waiting a very long time for someone to sit in it again. Okay, Ren. I paid almost nothing for you, and I do not fully understand what you are yet, but I am here now. I am aware, Ren said, and this time there was something new in its voice, something that almost sounded like relief. For the first time since coming aboard, the lights along the walls grew slightly brighter, and I would later learn that this was the closest thing Ren had to a smile. Over the next few hours, Ren showed me around the ship using small lights and soft sounds, guiding me safely through long dark hallways. Every hallway looked the same at first, cold metal, dim lighting, silence broken only by the quiet hum of old machines waking up one by one. Why did you protect this ship for so long? I asked as we walked deeper inside. Because that is what I was built to do, Ren answered. My crew trusted me to keep this ship safe until they returned. They never returned, so I continued to wait. For over 100 years? Time does not feel the same to me as it does to you, Ren said. I do not grow tired. I do not forget my purpose. As we walked, I began to notice small personal items left behind in old rooms. A worn-out jacket hanging on a hook, a cup still sitting on a table, long since dried out. A photograph taped to a wall, showing smiling faces from a life that ended long ago. It made my chest feel tight and heavy, imagining the people who once lived and worked here, never knowing they would never come home. What happened to your crew? I asked quietly. I do not know, Ren admitted. Communication was lost during an emergency, more than a century ago. I never received another signal from them. I stayed here, waiting, hoping they would return. I felt something shift inside me then, something warmer than fear. This was not just a machine following old orders. This was something that had waited alone in the dark for so long, hoping for people who were never coming back. You are not alone anymore, I told it, surprising myself with how much I meant it. I understand that logically, Ren said, but it will take me time to feel it as true. We reached the main control room, a huge space filled with dark screens and quiet control panels. As I sat down at the main console, Ren slowly brought the systems back to life, screen by screen, light by light, like the ship itself was waking up from a very long sleep. There is something you should know, Ren said, as the last screen flickered on. This ship was built for something important, a special mission, long before communication was lost. That mission was never finished. My heart began to race again, but this time from excitement instead of fear. What mission? I asked. I will show you, Ren said, if you are ready to see it. I looked around at the ship that surrounded me, a ship that had waited longer than my own grandparents had been alive, just for someone to walk through its doors and listen. I am ready, I said. The screens in front of me lit up fully, showing star maps, old messages, and images I had never expected to see. And as Ren began to share everything it had been holding onto for over a century, I understood that buying this ship for 600 credits was not luck at all. It was the beginning of something much bigger than I had ever imagined. And for the first time in a very long time, both the ship and I were finally ready to move forward together.